snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys! So I am here today to do a wrap up for the month of February. This wrap up is my graphic novel wrap up, so it's all of the graphic things and graphic works that I ended up reading during the month of February, which was quite a lot. I had a good month for graphic novels. Let's get started. I'm going to go from lowest rating to highest rating and then talk a little bit about each one as we go. The first thing I want to talk about is Mirror, issue 1. This is a new series that's only just started. It's coming out month by month and issue by issue, and I've only read the first issue so far. It's a really interesting idea. It's set in this world where you have all sorts of really wacky, crazy characters, and the artwork is beautiful. However, I didn't feel like the story from this one issue alone was enough to give it any real depth. I feel like it's the beginnings of something. It could develop into something really great, but at the moment it's not really there, so I ended up giving that one a 3 stars because I loved the art, didn't know where the story was going. So hopefully I'll continue with it and see it get better as we go. The next graphic novel that I read is Unroll. This one is a full-size graphic novel, and unfortunately this didn't quite live up to what I was hoping it would be. It sounded like a really cool story about this girl who gets involved in some really dark god-like beings chasing her around, and it was all very crazy, and it's also all told through purple colour tones. I'll put some pictures up of the art. And I thought it was going to be wonderful, but unfortunately the story just didn't quite live up to what I was hoping for, and although the artwork is nice, it's nothing stunning, so I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it, but I'm not sure I'm going to pick up the next volume. The next one that I read is Lumberjanes Volume 3. This is by Stevenson, Wetters, Nowak, and this has a couple of different art styles in it. For example, we have this art style, and this art style, so there's quite a lot of different styles within this. The first section of this is all of the girls around a campfire telling ghost stories, and they are each individually told in a different art style. The story is happening, so it was a little bit jarring because we don't really have any guest artists before now. However, I thought the story was still fun. I like the group of girls, I like the relationships that they're developing, and I thought it was a fun one, but it wasn't as good as the first volume, which I absolutely loved, or the second volume, which I still really liked. So I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars because I liked it, I thought it was fun, I thought it was good adventures, but I didn't think it was quite on the same level. The next single issue I read was Lazarus number 2, which is A House issue 5, I think. Really liked this. I didn't love the art style of this when I initially read the first one in this series, but I did by the second one really enjoy it and think it worked for the story. It was fun, it was action-packed, it was definitely the start of something that could be really great. I don't know if they're going to do any more or not, but I would be interested to see what happens if they do. So I gave that a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The next thing that I ended up reading is Mouse Guard, Legends of the Guard Volume 2, and this is a collection of short stories set within the Mouse Guard world, done by lots of different illustrators and artists, and based off of the original Mouse Guard series, which I haven't read, but they can be read on their own as standalone stories, and it's a fun, really enchanting little read. All of the stories are quite light, none of them really have a lot of depth, but they're fun, enchanting reads, and I gave this one 3.5 out of 5 stars. I found a few really cool illustrators who I definitely want to follow up more of their work, so that was great. The next one that I read is The Sculptor by Scott McCloud. This is a book that I've heard so many people rave about. It's quite chunky, it's just under 500 pages, and the artwork within looks kind of like this. It's all told in this sort of blue tone graphic work. I personally prefer graphic novels when they're either full colour or black and white. I don't love when it's just the one tone, but that's just a personal thing. The story itself was very emotional. It was about this guy who is a struggling artist. He can't really get his work going anywhere, and he is just trying to persevere as much as possible, but life is getting him down. And it's all about him and how he gets through this, and the deal that he ends up making with death. So it's pretty fun, it's pretty enchanting at times, and pretty sad at times, and I gave it a 3.5. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite that 4-star read for me. There was something just missing, and I think it was maybe the artwork that drew it down, but the story was really, really good. The next few issues that I read are all part of the same series, and they make up a complete arc on their own. I believe that the volume of this is going to come out later this year, which is really exciting, so I'll probably pick that up, but I read these digitally on Comixology, and that is issues 1 to 6 of Lady Mechaka, which is by Joe Benitez and Marcia Chen. And I really, really enjoy the first arc of this series, which is Lady Mechaka. I bought the volume last year, as you guys know, and I read all of them and I loved it, and I thought it was exceptional artwork, exceptional story, and it was just really, really great. However, I didn't feel like this one quite lived up to that. I still really loved it. I still thought that the artwork was incredible. I didn't feel like it was quite as developed on the story, and I think possibly that's because Marcia Chen also gets involved in writing in this, which isn't a bad thing. She can still write for sure, but I didn't think it was quite on the same level as the first volume. I am, however, really happy that it's now a regular thing because he brought more people onto the team rather than the first volume was pretty much just him and one other person. This is now a full team of people helping him make these, and I think they are all beautifully illustrated. Such a badass female character who is the lead. I love her, and I can't wait to find out more about her story as this series continues. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. So overall, for all 6 of those, I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think there are some issues that I would give a 3.5 and some that I would give a 4, but I'm going to be doing a full review talking about all of them a little bit later, so look out for that. The next one that I read is actually an illustrated children's book, and that is Cloth Lullaby. This is one that I was very kindly sent by Abrams, who are the publisher, and it's a really short story all about the life of Louise Bourget, who was a sculptor and an artist, and it's kind of a really interesting introduction to her as a person and her work through illustrations. The illustrations are by Isabel Arsenault, and her artwork is absolutely stunning. I loved it. I will put some pictures up of what it looks like. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a really beautiful, sweet read, and I would definitely recommend that if you have younger children who are interested in art, then pick it up, and if you are interested in art yourself, maybe pick it up as well for you, because it's just a beautiful little read. The next one that I ended up reading was Lazarus Volume 4, as this came out and I picked it up. I definitely enjoyed this. I didn't think it was my favourite of the volumes. I think the third one is still my favourite. However, I still enjoyed this. I thought it was kick-ass. I love the female leads in this. I think they're fantastic, and I cannot wait to see what happens next in the series because the ending was quite an interesting revelation. So I gave that a 4 out of 5 stars as well. The next one that I read was Sunstone Volume 1. I don't actually have Volume 1 with me, but I have Volume 2, and it's an erotic series by Steven Sibak, who is Croatian. I really loved Volume 1 in this series. It was an excellent start point with BDSM being told in a clean, nice, fun, flirty way rather than a gross, pornographic way. It's absolutely about the relationship between this lady and one of the others, and it's fantastically wonderful. I adored the first volume. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. This is the second volume that I picked up after the first, and I read it also in February, and I gave this a 4.5 stars. Even better, I just adore this series so much. It's an incredible series. Know that there are 2 more in the series that are already out. I will be doing a review of these, and I loved it so much, and I cannot wait to continue with the story and find out more about these 2 ladies because it is just so tastefully done, and the fact that it's all done by a man and it's very tastefully done and deals with BDSM is quite incredible, and I love it, and I think it's fantastic. So definitely one to check out if you're interested in BDSM, but done tastefully, not in a disgusting, horrible way. The next one that I picked up was Descender Volume 1, and I absolutely love this series. It is a fantastic little series, a science fiction one, and it's by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. I think the artwork in this is incredible. I've shown you guys some of it before, but I'll show you again. It's done in watercolour artwork and it's absolutely stunning. The story is really fun and quirky, and I'm definitely looking forward to Volume 2 coming out because it was just such a fun ride to read, and I can't wait to see where it all goes next because I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. The next one that I picked up was The Trouble with Women. This is a really funny, humorous look at women in history and the fact that they've basically not been included in history. It's all told in black and white images, as I'll show you, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very quirky, very fun, lots of laugh out loud moments that I didn't expect, but I really enjoyed. And I definitely think the author had a great time sort of illustrating some of the problems within history and some of the misconceptions. It was really quirky, and I loved it a lot, and I definitely was quite pleasantly surprised by it, and it was also on my most anticipated reads of the year, so I'm really happy I managed to pick that one up and read it because it was fabulous. So I gave that one a 4 out of 5 stars as well. And the final thing that I picked up in the month of February was a single issue, and that was Pretty Deadly issue number 8. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a fantastic one again. It's really beautifully illustrated. It's about a wild western setting, and it's really, really fantastic series. I didn't quite love this one as much as I did number 7 in the series. However, I still really, really liked it, and I'm definitely loving where the story is going. So I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars as well. That is it. Those are all of the graphic things I ended up reading in the month of February. Quite a lot, I'm sure you'll agree, and I had a great time sort of delving into lots of different ones. I cannot wait to continue some of these series on, and I'm sure it's going to be really, really fun. I'm also hoping to get further through Fables, which I didn't manage to get to this month, but hopefully I can next month. So look out for another wrap up like this fairly soon, I would imagine. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all again soon in another video. Bye! Me and you gonna have a little chat.